Today we are joined by Kay French. Kay is Managing Director at Bank of America Investment Banking. She is an investment banking professional focused on sovereign wealth funds and government related entities based in Abu Dhabi. Kay graduated with a bachelor degree in economics from the University of Nottingham before she joined Bank of America Merrill Lynch in 2005, first in London, and then before moving to the UAE in 2011. Kay, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a delight during such a key event and program that you're running.
Perfect, thank you. I would like to start with your story. What was your journey? How it shaped your career, and what were some pivotal moments that shaped your future?
Sure. I mean, I think when I think about the pivotal moments, two stand out. One was when I was a few years into my career, and my now husband had moved to the UAE, and it was the latter part of the financial crisis,
Mhm.
and we were having a discussion of should he move back to the UK, should I move to the UAE, or should we go somewhere else? And I remember with trepidation going to my manager to ask to transfer to the UAE. And he just embraced it. He made calls, he made it happen. He just completely supported me. And it made me think, people want to listen, people want to help, people want to help you. Um, and I think that's such a key thing is to
Mm.
remember to overcome your sort of often misplaced fears, right? What's the worst that can generally happen is no. And then you have to reconfigure your plans, but it's better to know sooner rather than later. And it's a point that I come back to time and time again. Um, is just to overcome misplaced fears whenever I'm feeling a little bit nervous, even today.
Mm.
I think the other pivotal moment is probably the most pivotal of all, my kids. I have two little kiddies who are age 4 and 2, and clearly it was life changing. And there's challenges, there's moments of sheer joy, and it gets better and better. And I remember thinking at the time, is now the right time? What will be the impact?
Mm.
Um, and life, work, it continues, it adapts. You find ways. Um, I think that's something to remember. And likewise, I remember with trepidation again, announcing this big life event. In such a fast paced and ever evolving industry. And a lot of people, they have kids, and they were joyful and supportive. And you connect on a new level. People
Mm.
like talking about their kids, right? And in the same way now with working from home, you have kids pop up and they say hi, and I think it
Mhm.
brings people together, which I think is great.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I think happens during, I mean, it happens to me as well during other calls with a client or internal calls. And it's actually natural, right? We are working from home. So I think it's just across the world happening to everyone. um, how did you find your way to grow your career? What was the driving force behind?
Yeah, I think when I was starting out, I knew I wanted to be in the city. I wanted to be in finance, but I didn't know anyone. And so I spent a lot of time researching, attending events, growing my skill set, reading the news, um, to add to
Mm.
my CV and my positioning as I look to apply. And then I knew I wanted to be part of a single team. I wanted to be part of a team and not through a rotational program. I wanted to be in a sector that had a meaningful impact on the world and made a difference to people's lives. And I was fortunate enough to find my match in what was then Merrill Lynch's healthcare team, where we were raising financing for innovative healthcare companies and helping them grow their portfolios through M&A. And as I grew my skill set, I consciously looked to grow my role, to
Mhm.
bring ideas and content. I began to create my own space, to own part of our sector. And then when I moved to the UAE, it was with a clear focus to cover our key sovereign wealth funds and government related entities. And as I began to know and understand our clients more, I could really drive our franchise and our strategy to create a holistic coverage model, which I think really helped to drive our business forward, but also deliver for our clients by enabling them to access our full suite of products. And
Mhm.
now today I talk to our clients across products, across industries, across geographies, from energy transition to infrastructure, healthcare to industrials, what's on in the world, what's important to them, um, which I think is just such a super interesting role to have developed over the course of the last 10 years.
No, definitely very, very impressive. And it's really nice to, hear from you the amazing learning curve and advancing your career internationally, right? Or actually even globally. When we spoke previously some time ago, we discussed the importance and the strengths of the culture in an organization and how it affects the teams. What was your experience in this regard with Bank of America?
I mean, I think from the moment I first interviewed with what was then Merrill Lynch, I knew this was the organization where I could, where I wanted to be a part of it, where I could forge a long-term career, which cared and which looked beyond just an Excel spreadsheet or a PowerPoint presentation. You spend so much time with the team that it becomes like a family. So having the right fit is really important. You have to care, you have to want to build something better, to trust, to share ideas, to listen, to challenge one another, to ultimately drive the organization's creativity and deliver for our clients. When I look back on the EMEA healthcare team where I started over 15 years ago, a lot of those individuals are still there today. And I think that's a testament to the strength of culture that B of A builds. B of A realizes that being a great place to work is crucial for our success. Building a diverse and inclusive workplace is a core pillar for us. For example, we have a long-term commitment to driving racial equality and economic opportunity. We have a $1 billion 4-year program to that effect. We have a range of resources, events, programs to drive and foster a culture of inclusiveness within our workplace, such as we have a series of conversations called Get Real, and again the focus on driving progress and inclusiveness. For instance, we have a talk by the UK's first female firefighter coming up to again share their experiences and what people have done. And when we think about community, when I was in the UK, I was a school governor with a colleague. There's a great connectivity between schools and our institution. Other teams, we will go paint schools or build gardens. Here we
Mhm.
have a program with an educational charity here where we go into schools and talk about careers and the workplace. And our community is not just local, it's also global, right? We're a founding member of the Terra Carta, a charter that drives or that looks to put sustainability at the heart of global value creation. So I think we are super focused on building that culture and being inclusive and part of something bigger.
No, amazing. Those are really inspirational, real examples, and thank you for doing this amazing, amazing work. Once we also discussed, and you mentioned that you worked in the teams with higher proportion of females. So, have you seen the culture actually differ in the teams where you have more gender balance?
Yeah, I mean, I think it provides a broader perspective and a more rounded culture because to some extent you're automatically challenging the status quo. And I think as you grow in confidence within that, your willingness and ability to challenge groupthink also grows. And I think it's surprising the number of times and situations where people talk and move along without realizing or discussing if they're aligned or at cross purposes, and getting to a defined conclusion or identifying next steps or thinking through the impact on the big picture, the strategic objectives, the commerciality of a point. It's fundamental to the work we do, and I think yeah, it's often overlooked or sometimes overlooked in initial discussions.
Mhm.
Ideas can be, you know, ephemeral points, abstract, because people are, you know, sometimes unwilling to challenge or are too aggressive.
Mhm.
And I think having a more balanced team, it just changes that dynamic. I mean, like B of A's commitment to gender equality, it extends throughout the organization. I think we're one of only 5 S&P 100 companies with 6 or more women on our board. In last year, over 47% of our summer internship program were female, which again I think is the focus that we have on building that balanced um, gender culture.
Mhm. No, that's again amazing to hear. And I think what we are discussing with the other female leaders is, and the message is very similar to yours. We have high number intakes at the beginning junior level, but then we need to pay a lot of attention to their mid career and focus to grow their career, because that's the point where and when we can actually lose them. So good to hear, and hopefully we will focus within our companies, and other companies are doing that to keep those high numbers in. Um, we discussed you are originally from UK, so when you moved to the Middle East, you mentioned the significant level of activity here in the region, and therefore great exposure to clients, responsibility, and while being on the ground. So, what are the challenges and the opportunities that come, from working in the region?
Yeah, I think for every challenge there can be an opportunity. And I think being outside of a main hub can seem like it limits your network. But
Mhm.
because of the sheer breadth of our clients' focus, yeah, I've built a broader and deeper network than I had when I was in London. You know, my clients look across industries, they're global, and I built a network to match that. I think people often ask, how can a generalist working across such diverse sectors have impact and develop a career? And for those bankers based outside of London or New York, I think they can develop a pretty significant knowledge across sectors, you know, from infrastructure to tech, real estate to healthcare, which I think greatly broadens your longer term career opportunities. And you talk pretty knowledgeably across all and bring a
Mhm.
broader perspective that can add value. So, for an example, sometimes an idea or structure I've seen in one sector, it can be applicable to another situation that I'm working on.
No, amazing. And before we close our interview, I cannot omit to ask you, what advice would you give to younger generations, female and men, to advance their career?
Yeah, I think keep at it. You know, look on company websites, see what events are available, apply to them. Yeah, we post all of our events and applications on our website. You know, look at the skill sets that are required and how you can broaden and deepen your skills
Mhm.
to match that. Connectivity, you know, try to find a mentor or look to connect with, you know, individuals who are relevant. You know, people are always willing to talk, provide their perspectives. You know, send them a note on LinkedIn. If you meet them, get their email address, send them a note and ask for a call. If someone emails me, I try and respond or have a call or point them in the right direction. You know, for a number of years, I was a mentor at the Social Mobility Foundation in the UK, helping advise students on how to approach a career in finance from, you know, when they're applying while at university. Be interested in the world. We advise global corporates and institutions on their most significant and transformational actions. They are part of the real world. They're deeply connected into the real world. We have to understand what's going on. We have to be passionate about what's happening. And I think finally, find your point of differentiation. It's a very competitive global marketplace. How can you stand out? Where do you add? And I think, yeah, it could be excellent academics. It could be playing sport to a really high level. It could be that you've started your own business. It could be that you're very active and passionate about a charity or something in the local community. It could be a unique travel experience. I think it's important to remember banking is not just about numbers, it's about connecting with people.
Mhm. No, thank you. Very, very wise words. And that's exactly the reason also why we are running our reflection series to share the knowledge, give the advice for for generations that is just starting their journey, and that should also serve story as yours as an inspiration for them. So, Kay, thank you very much for joining us. It was my pleasure to have you, and hope to speak soon.
Thank you very much.